Remember this song, guys?
Shake your ass. Show me what you work with. Shake your ass.
The boy Mystikal.
Shake your ass. I came here with the mic in my hand. Don't make me leave me with my foot in your be cool. And don't worry about how I'm ripping this. What I'm picking, what I'm flipping. Cause this just what I do. I'm a professor. I'm that crescent ass. It's a full-grown German shepherd. You better keep stepping. They don't mess with me. Down. Y'all can't catch it. And they wild. Pay your fiction. Know that. A product for my bunapas and dollar for my books. You think I'm tricking? Well, I ain't tripping. I'm fine if you got nice curves for your iceberg.
So you guys remember Mr. Mystikal, Michael Tyler. So you remember that? You remember when Mystikal did that song, Club Banger. Love that song. You know what I mean? Love that song. But it's like, what happened? And then now I'm hearing this man is allegedly raping another woman again. So I don't know what's going on here. We're going to play some clips. Michael Lawrence Tyler, born September 22nd, 1970, better known as his stage name Mystikal, is an American rapper. That's, obviously he's from he's hip hop. He's from Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana. Mystikal's debut album was Mystikal, released on New Orleans-based independent record label Big Boy in 1994. The album was one of the Big Boy's most successful albums and gained major success for Mystikal. In 1995, he found himself involved in conflict with fellow New Orleans rapper signed to rival Cash Money, including UNLV and the Bee Gees. They dissed him on a track called Drag 'Em in the River by UNLV's and the Fuck Big Boys by the Bee Gees. He struck back with Beware and Here I Go, which was on his second album, Mind of Mystikal. Mystikal's sister Michelle Tyler sang the chorus on Not That Nigga, and her fate became a major influence on Mystikal's music after her death in September 1994. So the song is dedicated to Michelle Tyler. Murder, both on Mystikal, Mind of Mystikal, Murders 2, Shine, both on Unpredictable, Murder 3. So this is Mystikal from 1995 to 2000. Mind of Mystikal and stints with Big Boy Records. He said Mystikal signed to Jive and released Mind of Mystikal in 1995. He signed the masterpiece No Limit in 1996 and released Unpredictable in November 1997. He appeared on many of the No Limit albums released from 1997 through the chunk of 2000. He also collaborated with Mariah Carey on her Rainbow album on the track Did I Do That? In late 1998, he released Ghetto Fabulous. That was his last album with the label, and he put No Limit, and him and No Limit parted ways in 2000. So I'm going to let you guys hear this brother over here speak.
Factor Uncensored, rapper Mystikal is like a magnet for legal trouble. He's back in the headlines again for allegedly sexually assaulting a woman. One of my next guests says he should keep his hands to himself, no matter how big your song was on the charts long ago. Take a look. And J Mac and Young Jazz from 97.9 The Box are here on the Factor Uncensored to talk about this craziness out of Louisiana. Rapper Mystikal arrested over the weekend, Sunday, and placed in Ascension Parish Jail for false imprisonment and rape. And Young Jazz, this isn't the first time he's been accused of this, right?
No, I believe the first time he was accused was in like 2003. And then I know also Mystikal served like 6 years in prison already. And then there was another altercation that also happened in 2017. So this is the third thing that has happened to him regarding all that.
Is this crazy, J-Mac? Are we believing this, or will we let it ride in court and see what happens?
I think you should, but I always say where there's smoke,
there might be a little fire. And that's a possibility. He's been accused twice before. How are the fans reacting to this? Man, people all on the internet are saying, I can't believe it. You mean Mystikal has to do this? You know, he's 52 years old. He's been in the game a long time. I'm sure there's women willing to do whatever he needs done sexually.
But I feel like people also think a lot of times when it's somebody in high power, a celebrity, an artist, a rapper, an athlete, that they don't have to do those kinds of things. But some of those guys still get aggressive too and, want their way and stuff. So it doesn't automatically mean that because, he's a rapper or something, he doesn't have to do that. Because a lot of times we see those are the main ones that be getting caught up in cases like this.
Young Jazz, it could be about control. When you talk about rape, you take away someone's power, and it may be something that he's just into.
Right, exactly. You never know. And the fact that it's just like, it feels like a repeat, like even maybe a three-peat is also, it's not really a good look for him.
Man, after that first time, he should have stayed away from people unless he has cameras, unless he makes some signed paperwork. All of that. So, like I said, you gotta wait to try the case in the courts. So that's the only way we'll see if he's telling the truth and he didn't do anything, or maybe he did something. We'll never know until the courts come. And of course, have we heard who the victim is? Of the victim saying anything? Have they released anything in the police report as of yet? Obviously, this is an alleged rape victim, and they're not going to release their names. But sometimes people come forward or say things.
I saw a report that said in the story that allegedly, like the girl, like they got into like a physical altercation, and she tried to allegedly maybe take some money from him or something, and then she was raped, and then she called a friend from Baton Rouge, and then by the time she got to the hospital and stuff, they said that there was enough evidence that kind of matched her story with what she was saying, so that they were able to arrest him.
But as if they did a rape kit or anything like that?
That's what it sounded like, but I'm not 100% sure. But that's what
See, Jazz, this is so crazy to me because you know what? Anybody could blame something on Mystikal because he has a bad reputation already. So they're going to get you first because you have a bad reputation, Mystikal. You got to stay away from stuff like this. And is that a possibility, Young Jazz, because he has that reputation? Someone would use that against him.
That's true. He could be a target for something like this because of the way it looks, just off the surface level. But you never know. Like J Mac said, we're going to have to let the courts decide and see what really happened.
Absolutely. Just a bizarre story. Once again, he has been arrested in Ascension Parish, which is near Baton Rouge, on Sunday. And
your hometown.
What's that?
Your hometown. That's what y'all doing out there?
You would bring that up.
This is the first interview I didn't shout out. I'm from Baton Rouge.
Oh, not today.
Between him and Bootsy, I don't know what to do.
Right.
But Bootsy isn't in trouble. So there you go. Thank you guys for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored.
So you guys hear that? Mr. Mystikal. Let's see if I could get something else. Let's see if I can get something else. Let me see if I can. So I'm gonna play something else. See if it sticks or not.
Good evening.
Okay, so I'm gonna play another clip. Give my little presentation of how I feel about it.
First at 6 o'clock, Mystikal, a well-known rapper on the wrong side of the law tonight, his third rape arrest over the past 2 decades.
Tonight, Mystikal, whose real name is Michael Tyler, is being held without bond at the Ascension Parish Jail. PBRC first to break the high-profile rapper's arrest on our news app this morning, and the investigative unit first to publish the disturbing details on what landed him in jail. Here is our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto.
Michael, Sylvia, a woman claims she was raped, robbed, and held against her will by a man whose fame did not provide him any favors.
Tonight, Mystikal sits in the Ascension jail accused of charges that could put him away for life if he's convicted.
Get fast. Watch yourself. Shake it fast. Show me what you're working with. Shake it fast.
51-year-old Michael Tyler isn't known to many by his real name. The music you just heard got him famous. His stage name, Mystikal. Tonight, a woman alleges he raped her at his home on Saturday in Prairieville, robbed her, and held her against her will.
Two individuals, they met up at his home to discuss some finances. And at some point, that conversation went very, very far left. She said that he seemed fine when they were initially talking. At some point, he stepped away, maybe to the restroom. He came back a completely different person. And that was when he began to come on to her.
This warrant for Mystikal's arrest details exactly what he's accused of. The woman had cuts, bruises on her arms, leg, face, mouth, and neck and hair yanked from her scalp. The warrant alleges Mystikal punched her, pulled her braids from her head, took her phone and keys to prevent her from leaving, choked her to the point she could not breathe, and forcibly raped her. The victim alleges Mystikal verbally berated her, spit in her face, and threw rubbing alcohol on her, claiming that she had bad spirits on her, that it would help cleanse. No one came to the door at his home on Retreat Lane in Prairieville, but neighbors on this quiet street told me he was always cordial and waved, but he also kept to himself and was a recluse. In 2014, we caught up with him on a ride-along with deputies as they checked on convicted sex offenders, which he is.
How you doing?
At the time, he told us he knew how important these checks are, especially when sex offenders are in your neck of the woods.
I have the same fears that most parents have. I don't have no offense against young kids and nothing like that. Don't make my offense no better, but still, protect your kids, man. Protect your kids. That's, our kids are the most important thing that we have.
He also said being a sex offender had not stopped him from living.
I'm through the pity party thing, I have to participate in sex offender groups and stuff like that twice a month. It don't stop your life, man.
Despite his fame, the sheriff's office says he's not being treated any differently tonight.
He didn't show the victim any sympathy, and he doesn't get any sympathy or special treatment. So he will be in general population or will be incarcerated just like anyone else.
Mystikal has been charged twice before for rape, once in 2002, another in 2017. The first one resulted in a 6-year prison conviction and forced him to register as a sex offender. 3 weeks ago, deputies were also called to Mystikal Street after a man says a woman came to his door alleging she was beaten by the rapper. He has a bond hearing tomorrow afternoon.
So I don't know what's going on with our brother Mystikal, but it's not looking good for you, bro. If you've already been arrested, already had 2 charges against you, why do it? So it's sad that we as people don't learn our lessons. I'm guilty of it. I've done it. I've been me against me for years. Don't listen to my parents. Got arrested. Done dumb shit. People told me not to do it. Family, friends, whatever, supposedly. Co-workers, whatever. And I didn't listen. So you can't blame nobody for you. There are things in my mind, just like I'm sure there are things in your mind that aren't right, that we think about every day. And, should we? No. Have we ever thought about killing somebody? Of course we have. So, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying you should kill people. Have we? Of course. When we've been angry, enraged, of course. It's not right. So, our brother Mystikal, I'm going to say this, man. If you get convicted and do time again, you're going to be in your 50s, sir. And who knows if you're going to get out or not. But that's, you should have learned your lesson, sir. You know what I mean? Famous guy. And you're not a bad looking guy. you're in your 50s, your early 50s. Okay. And you can't just get regular women, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying women don't lie. We know that has happened over the years. We know this men that have been put away in prison for lies that women have said to the police and the courts and all that other stuff. We know this. Okay, I've had a woman lie on me when I, back in the day when I was messing with this young lady. She was she was older than me, and she said I put her head against the bedpost when I was, when I was sleeping, when I had a room in Boston at the time when I was living in my grandfather's house when he passed away. But, she lied. You know what I mean? And thank God I didn't get charged because I ended up putting a restraining order on her. But what I'm saying is people do lie. And people actually do shit like this to hurt people. And we have to control ourselves. And I know our worst enemy is ourselves. And then when you have other things that trigger the mind, death, aggravation, this one disrespect, arrogance, ignorance, just all this type of stuff in our minds. I go through it just like we all go through it. I don't like it. So how the control for me? Yes. Because I got a bad temper and I am trying to, calm myself down. Because again, I do not want to get in trouble, get arrested, lose my job. But it's hard sometimes because people like to do that stuff. And they really want to do that. And people do lie just so you can lose everything, lose your home, lose your cars, lose your job, you know what I mean? And I'm not, and again, I hope that Mystikal didn't do this, but it looks like you did, sir. And if you did, why? That's the question. Okay, a black man, you already know, listen to me, sir, you already know black people. I'm speaking to you guys right now, even myself. You know where the type of people that are smart. But why we acting dumb and doing dumb stuff? Why are we doing stuff like this? Come on, man. Why would this man that's been famous since, the 90s, late 90s, for almost, over 20-something years, do some dumb shit like this? So, again, I hope that if he did this to the woman, she's all right, I hope. I hope this ain't a lie. I hope this ain't a hoax. You heard what they said on the news. You heard what they said in the other clip. Use your head, man. So you're going to be in prison and you're locked up right now in your 50s. And who knows if you're going to be able to get out anytime soon. And you already know they give black people, the hammer anyway when it comes to these sentences. So, come on, man. So, it's hard, as a human race to control yourself sometimes. But we all have to do it because you know what's going to be the end result. But I just wanted to make a video talking about the subject. I've been hearing about it on the internet. It's a shame. It makes us look bad as black people. It makes him look bad and his family look bad. Your kids are hearing about this, Mr. Michael Tyler, a.k.a. Mystikal. And you got to think about how they feel, how the mother of the children feel about that, about those situations prior, and now they're hearing about this or whatever. So feel free to check out my YouTube channel. Type in my name. It's Russell Mills, RUSSELLMILLS. May 22nd, 2017. My first video, Why Black People Settle for Less. Everybody take care. God bless. Have a good night. Bye.